Hello YouTube, this Skip coming to you live straight out of Real Hot 6 Aquatic Kennels. Today's video discussion is going to be about the dangers of using sponge filters in large aquarium systems with large aggressive cichlids. We're going to cover a few factors and we're going to go over the scientific reason why these sponge filters can be dangerous to use or utilize in aquariums with large and aggressive cichlids. Like I said, large, aggressive cichlids. I've taken all the sponge filters out of this aquarium. I placed a King Kong wrecking ball in here with an Aquaclear 110 because of the fact that Big King Bison here loves to treat sponge filters like chew toys, and for his safety I've taken them out. Okay, aquatic community, we're in my shop now where I have a 150-gallon tub. And in this tub, I have different model filtration systems. We have the Flugel 405. We have a couple of Aquaclear 110s and even the old 500s, Cascade. But the filters that we want to focus on today are these sponge filters. Now, I took the liberty of taking one apart. I took the housing out of this part down here in the bottom of this tub, because I wanted to give you guys a close-up view of this sponge. This sponge was in one of my old Trimex tanks, Pyro Trimex tanks, probably about, I think, 8 years ago. And what happened was he used to chew up on the surface of this sponge filter. He used to chew the surface of this sponge filter up. I mean, he chewed on it like a chew toy. He used to grab it and pull it across the tank and things of that nature. And then one day I noticed he wasn't eating. And that's very unusual for a Trimex not to eat. Trimex are very greedy and my fish are very hardy. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me that the water chemistry was right, the pH was right, there was no ammonia, there were no nitrates. So I had to do some investigative work, and I found out that he swallowed bits and pieces of this sponge filter. And when he passed away and died, I dissected him and I found these sponge pieces inside his digestive tract. And I take it that they probably were small pieces, because I'm looking at it, he didn't take off big, large chunks, but he took a significant amount of chunks out of this sponge filter, to where when he swallowed it and it got down in his digestive tract wasn't wide enough, and the sponge filter began to expand, which he got a digestive tract infection. Because the sponge filter not only is dangerous because it can expand in the digestive tract, it has helpful and harmful bacteria in it. And once the bacteria is trapped inside the digestive tract, all of it becomes harmful. The helpful and the harmful bacteria, all of it becomes a negative. Let me try to give you an example of how it expands. Now we have a couple of large sponge filters. These filters can actually filter from 75 to 100 gallons of aquarium water. This is a 75-gallon aquarium. I have a few Midas left. As you can see, I sold quite a few of them. I gradually started placing Midas from my other batch in this aquarium to refill it for sale, so I can start selling some of the younger ones. But the focal point is, this is the size cichlids between 1 to 3, maybe 4 inches tops, and fry that you want to have housed in an aquarium with these type of sponge filters. Now some people can get away with it. Don't get me wrong. Some people fish just ignore them and don't bother them at all. But for you guys who have aggressive cichlids, who likes to dig up the tank, shuffle stuff around, and get bored during the day and want to chew up on something like a sponge filter and treat it like a chew toy, this could be a danger. This is a consumer warning, people. I'm giving you the science behind why these filtration systems can also be harmful to large adult and young adult cichlids. You gotta be careful. Once they start chewing on this and they get stuck in their digestive tract, and the harmful enzymes start to expand, sort of like this illustration here. This is the surface, or what's on the surface of a sponge filter. This is considered harmful bacteria. What it does is it grow and expand, just like this. And now you have this big ball of bacteria stuck inside your fish digestive tract. It's too wide and expanded that it cannot be released by the fish on its own continence. Meaning the fish can't poop it out. It's too big. So now this fish has this big lump of harmful bacteria stuck in its digestive tract. It slowly but subtly go downhill. The fish start eating. It start looking very sick. It lays at the bottom of the tank. And the next thing you know, death is shortly coming. So I just gave you the fish science. I hope this video is helpful to a lot of you guys, because I know some of you guys like to keep a bunch of sponge filters to save on economic costs, and that is a good idea. But I've been doing this for over 30 years, and back in the 80s, we used to talk about setting up all sponge filters in our bedrooms, in our rooms, so we won't have to use regular filters to filter our aquariums and save some money. But sometimes you get what you pay for, and sometimes it can be costly to not use efficient equipment as far as large cichlids are concerned, and using inefficient and maybe possibly dangerous equipment like sponge filters for very large cichlids. Now I'm not saying some of you guys who have large cichlids and tanks with sponge filters and nothing has happened so far, that something is going to happen, because maybe your fish is ignored, just like I said. But for some of you guys who may be worried about that, or some of you guys may have a fish that came down with a sudden sickness and you can't figure out why, you may want to look to them sponge filters, do a little investigative work, and figure out what's going on. By the way, I notice how some of these miters, these bald ones, have some nice humps on their head. They try to hide. But this skip, you know the saying,